Emily from Just Ask. I'm here with Nicole from Trendih Travels?
Trendih.
Trendih. Okay,
yes.
See, I overthought it. Trendih Travels. I'm not gonna say she's my favorite, but travel is my favorite. So, yes. And she's my favorite because attention to detail. She brought a cup with her logo on it as well as a prop. Okay, future guests? So keep up, because apparently it just keeps getting better on Just Ask Em. So, so introduce yourself.
Okay, so my name is Nicole, and I am the owner of Trendih Travels. My business name came from my kids, so that's what inspires me, my kids.
How
How the name?
Yeah.
So my oldest daughter, her name is Trendih.
Oh.
My middle daughter, her name is India. So Trendih, and then the H is capital for my last baby, Harmony. And they always say your name's not in it, but the H is at the end.
The best for last. That's very cute. I like that. That's unique.
Yeah. So Trendih Travels.
Very nice. Yeah. And then, what brought you to starting that?
So just travel. Like you said, you love travel. Mm-hmm. I love to travel. Okay. It's been a passion of mine. Started with my kids traveling young. Traveled for my wedding. That's probably like the thing that started really it out. Yeah. Okay. I did a destination wedding, and so
yeah. When I get to that point, hopefully soon. Wink, wink. Destination wedding would be nice.
Yes. A lot of work, but definitely worth it.
Yeah. How would you say it's a lot of work?
So for me, I did everything myself. I ordered everything to get delivered. Every single piece of it, I did myself. When I do it with clients now, they get a coordinator, which is nice because a lot of it is taken care of for them. So,
well, you being the travel agent, you have to think of everything, just getting them there. So that's a lot. So so when me and Nicole first got to know each other, my process of when I have a guest on my podcast is I actually want to know what you do, why you do it, and where the passion stemmed from. So we just got into conversation. I said, I can't wait to this podcast because I said, I was just having conversation. We were here about, an hour? I said, I should have just set up the camera there. That would have been a whole episode in itself. But she, multiple jobs, and my friends always joke about me being Jamaican because I have so many different jobs. She is actually Jamaican. And you had about 2 or 3 jobs now? Something like that?
Yeah. So I've been most recently working in HR. That was my most recent job. Yeah. And just a little bit about passion, when passion meets purpose. Is I lost my job in October. I lost my full-time job. And so I started my business 2 solid years before that. So it was just nice to have that safety net in place when I did lose my job. So yeah.
I said, these days with the cost of living, you have to have 2 to 3 things, especially with a family. That's the minimum. So how do you manage those multiple jobs while having a family and finding time to fulfill your passion?
Honestly, my husband is a big cheerleader for me. My kids are a little older, so it's not as hard as it was. And just with the travel, they know how passionate I am about it. I include them, in it, so that helps. Just make the
kind of a way to multitask. Like you said, like balancing the life work balance. And it's even better because travel is enjoyable in itself. It's part of your job, but now you can include your family.
And I take them on certain trips. I can take them, and so it becomes a family affair. Just even marketing. My kids are in the stores with me, putting my business cards in suitcases, and
them kids are perfect for that marketing stuff. So you can focus on the travel agency. There you go. That's smart. So you mentioned when we spoke previously, you kind of just mentioned being a doer. So a lot of the times we have great ideas, small business, this would be great. We have visions. And travel, so travel was your passion. What was it that said, I'm going to do a travel agency? When did this start? When did that become a thing?
So I was booking travel for people.
Already.
Just, randomly here. Family, friends. I always could find a good deal. And it was people are getting paid for this.
You right?
So I'm like,
and you're like, I'm good at this.
I'm going to try it. So I tried it, and like, to me, it made sense. It's something everybody knows somebody who's thinking about traveling, just came back from a trip, or so it's like the market was there, so let me try it. Yeah.
Well, and even these days too, like over time, Buffalo has become so diverse, and now you have, families from all around the world, really, and then if they're helping family come over or going back to visit family,
right.
And like I said, I feel like a lot of the small businesses that I've had on my podcast so far, it's kind of just things that are underestimated. Even just, marketing or, setting up travel. Or like you said, somebody who wants to do a destination wedding, thinking of the wedding is one thing, but now thinking of, this bulk of people that you're trying to get over there, and then it's out of the country. There's so many moving parts where... you almost have to have a travel agent. Yeah,
and I feel like I take the stress out of it for people. It's you have this event and all these little details about, just flights or where do I have, it's like, just tell me where I gotta show up, what time, what I need, and I will. So I get a lot of groups, like birthday groups or weddings or, groups where people just like,
there's too much for one
just
person.
Do it for me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I said, that was even my thought process too when it came to like, I say small event planning because I'm a one-woman show right now. But, like depending what you want, like not everybody's like, okay, I know I need to book, food and music and this and that. Like some people don't know where to start with that stuff. So I think it's great that people like us who we're not scared of that challenge. We've turned it into a small business to get revenue from it, because it does help other people that much where, like you said, I don't want to think about it. Here's the information. Just make it happen. It's nice when it happens like that. So what services would you say are offered at Trendih Travels? And like,
so they're just growing, I would say. So I started out specializing in the Caribbean, and I'm now a specialist for Thailand, for Bali, the Caribbean as well. But so I specialize in group trips, so that's a service that I offer. I've expanded a little bit, offering some personalization services. So if you're doing a trip, not only just the trip, but if you're having a birthday party, I can set up that stuff for you, on site wherever you're going.
Oh, so like if somebody goes on a trip, but the purpose of the trip is a birthday celebration, you'll set up stuff for them there.
Stuff set up for them there, like the restaurant, all those pieces. Yeah. And then just fun stuff, like now I'm offering a hangover kit. I should have brought it today. Just little like things that have just arrived from gifts that I've given my clients, and now I'm offering them. So do a little hangover kit. It includes a shot of your choice. So I'm now offering those. And then I most recently just dropped a digital itinerary, which I'm pretty proud of.
That. So what is explain that more?
So it's kind of like a place. It's a digital itinerary, but it sounds like that you can send out to your guests. And it goes through everything from date you arrive, restaurants you're eating at, outfits you're wearing, what to bring. So it's kind of like a whole package for your trip. It looks cute. It's fun.
Well, and I like that thought, because I'm very organized, and I love the traveling and the planning and ordering. But I'm like, I said, there's probably some times where like, okay, I don't want to be the planner of everything. So I think that's now. Do you do stuff for like smaller local things, even if it's not like a whole trip where you do?
I do hotels. I definitely am trying to branch out, more to more local stuff with the falls being so close.
Oh my God,
we get a lot of. So I like I work for the airport too. I don't know if I mentioned that.
I told you Jamaicans here.
But we get a lot of groups coming in from Asia specifically. Hitting the Seven Wonders.
People fly in for that. That wouldn't be a bad connection.
So I'm trying to do some connections there. And then just locally getting people out of Buffalo and seeing the world. It's so much out there.
So much. That's great. I know, because I know you mentioned the digital itinerary. I said, well, that's great, because I said I'm planning a wedding September of this year. So, and their honeymoon is like very shortly after. So like a digital itinerary for that would be great.
Yes.
Even in the case too of like, I think the bride mentioned wanting kind of like an itinerary for the wedding day.
Okay.
Because even with that will be nice to send it to guests.
Yeah.
So you know, exactly like, okay, what order? On. Like, when do I get there? When is cocktail hour? When is it? So, like, I think that's, like, a great, you know, I like paper. Yeah. I do. Yeah. But, you know, the day and age we're in.
Digital,
yeah. So, like, that's a great way to kind of save paper, but get it out in a mass.
Yeah. So and everybody has their phone. It's, like, it's accessible from your phone. Yeah. It's, like, can't lose it.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, and like I said, even with that, like, you got somebody who's not holding a piece of paper, if they screenshot it, you can still, because, you know, internet signal sometimes.
Yeah.
So now, if you do a digital itinerary, how would somebody, like, how does it get sent to them?
So that they can get it through email, they can get it through text on their phone, and they can send it out the same way.
Okay, very nice. So now, and you mentioned having, is it a class that you offer?
So I do coaching.
Okay.
I do coaching for people who are looking to get started being a travel agent.
Okay.
So it's a very supportive program. Mm-hmm. You sign up, you get training classes, all the support you need. Like, you know, I'll walk you through the whole startup, right down to, you know, your first client and booking the process. So.
And about how long is that course?
So it's self-guided. So you would be able to, you know, start the training as you go. For people who are busy but looking for some extra income. Okay. So that's the two sides to the business. Is either, you know, helping people get started in the business or booking travel. It's just, in this economy, an extra source of income, an extra stream of income.
I don't got kids, but I got a dog, and she's bleeding me dry. Okay.
Listen, my daughter is 17, and she's going to college next year, and I am starting her business. Like, I'm telling her now, get your name together. As soon as she turns 18, she has a business, but she'll take it to college with her, you know, and spring break, you know, you have to think about stuff like that. She can book her friends.
I mean, and like I said, I think a lot of the time, you know, I wish I would have thought further ahead. Because, like, you know, when you're like a teenager, you're like, oh, I have all the time in the world, and it's like, oh, wait, 26,
if I knew,
30, okay. That came quick. You know, so I think that's great. And, like, there should be more of that, like, young entrepreneurs. Even if, like, it starts at a small business, they figure out, okay.
How to grow it. Just make it her own.
The understanding where it's like, okay, I could do this long term, or, oh, maybe I can turn it into this. Like, you know, I went to a public school. I don't know what private schools are like these days, but I'm sure something nice because they charge them. But, like, like in school, you know, we learned all the basics, but, like, dang, like, investing, 401k, Roth IRA, or, like, small business, like, where was that in, like, school, you know? Right. And that would have been just amazing. And I think what's I was talking to somebody before about how the shift, like you said, it's kind of shifting as far as, like, corporate America versus, like, smaller businesses. And when COVID did hit, it was like, ooh, corporate America got knocked down to their knees real quick. Fast. And it's just like, you know, the small businesses were kind of okay. You know, so it kind of changes your mentality to, like, you know, it's not always about that quantity, but more that quality clientele.
And I think, like I said, for me, it was losing my 6-figure job. You know what I mean? Like, and it was like, that can happen to any of us at any time. You know, like, we work for these companies, and they just hold the power, you know, any time.
Corporate America, that's what I didn't like. Listen, at the end of the day, you're just a number. You could be replaced, you know, and it sucks because it's just like, dang, like, I don't need praise every single day, but I would have a little appreciation and maybe security.
And that was it for that job. I worked my butt off throughout COVID, and you know, and it was like, okay, we don't want remote people anymore, so move to New York City or see ya, you know. So
ouch.
Yeah.
I get scared when I've lost a job, and then you do that now with a family. I can only imagine.
So it just made me pour more into my business, and you know, that's something that's mine. Nobody can take it away, you know. And I always tell people who are getting started, like, it's gonna give you what you put in, you know.
Exactly.
You get out what you put in. So
And I think these days, like, realistically, like, retirement is boring. And so, you know what I mean? And like, even when people retire, and even if you're financially okay, I feel like people stay young with purpose. With purpose. You know what I mean? Something to wake up to do, a routine, you know, schedule. So I feel like there is more and more a slight importance in kind of creating something for yourself. Because, you know, let's say you're lucky enough, you retire, you might have a pension, you might have Social Security. But then it's like, okay, now what are you doing? Yeah. You know, okay, you're still young, you got good health, you got mobility.
What do you do?
So that's kind of like, and like I said, and it's never too late where, could I be in a better position at my age that I am? Yes. Mm-hmm. Would I have preferred to think a little further ahead and better planning? Yes. But it's still never too late.
Right.
Where, okay, God, you allow me to be on this earth till 65, that's about, 30 more years. Yeah. You can do a lot in 30 more years if you really use it the right way. And even starting my businesses, those are my passions. Yeah. I can, like I said in my one episode, I'll be up in a wheelchair, but I'll still host that event. I'll be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can say, go over there, move that there, go over there, my hand still works. Yeah. So I think that's like just the importance of really finding your passion. Yes, it can be scary, but also having the understanding it's not going to happen overnight, but it's what you put into it.
It's what you put into it.
Like and I think that sometimes people have is like the hard part where like I had to learn that real quick. I'm like, okay, this ain't gonna happen in a year. Yeah. So when you have that understanding,
like starting and understanding that and not quitting, and keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Keeping the vision.
Yeah. This is my and for me it's like I said, I love travel, but my kids are my purpose, and I have been a mom for so long, and just a mom. Because you're identifying as the mom. So it's like my business is mine. Yeah, it's for me. Like I can say, "Oh, I'm going here with my," and it's for me, and I don't have to feel guilty about that. It's like. This is my.
You might have found the loophole.
Yeah.
That's the best of both worlds. Come on, kids.
My husband's like, you don't have to go. I'm like, I do. My group nees me.
I have to chaperone. I got to make sure they know where they're going. Yes. So digital itinerary might not be enough.
Yeah.
So now I see every once in a while you post kind of like the cost of a certain trip. Mm-hmm. If people want to, like, all-inclusive, etc. Explain that a little more. How does that work? Is that open to anybody?
It's open to anybody. So, you'll see me post groups. I do a lot of groups. And I like to do the groups because I'll tell you, my first group I did was a group from Buffalo, women, moms. Okay. Some of them first-time passport holders. Okay. And it was amazing for me to give them that. Like a memory.
That's the passion in it.
That was like, This is it.
Purposeful.
Yes, yes. So I started, I think, from that moment, like, I want to do groups. I want to do groups. They're affordable because I do payment plans. So you can start a payment plan 12, 13, 14 months out and pay as you go, monthly. And then when your trip comes, it's paid off, and you go, and you can, enjoy
the money that you have, like, you can spend it.
Yeah, you're right. So I think that is it. It gives people who, like, I think travel was once looked at something that was for people who are well off, it gives everyday, ordinary people the ability to be able to travel and see the world. So
yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing, like, even for me. So I just had my girlfriend, she's kind of likes the budgeting thing, and I'm like, listen, it amazes me how many things I can accomplish. I'm organized and I'm good at. Yeah. I just don't like finances. A big number, it just overwhelms me. I don't know if it's like my learning style. Like if I see a number too big, like you said, I'm like, oh, I'll never be able to afford a $3,000 trip. And I probably spent $3,000 in the last 3 months just on living. Right.
Right. Because every day, we're spending money, but we don't think about it. So
we don't see it. We ignore it.
Yeah. We ignore
Guilty. So like I said, like even something with that where, okay, if it's a big trip that you want to do, and even if it's 6 months or a year or more in advance.
Break it up.
I mean, that's, that's kind of nice to know because it's just like, that takes care of all the expenses?
Yes, all the expenses. Okay. Most of the places, if it's Caribbean or it's all inclusive, so it includes your food and your drink.
Nice.
So airfare is included in the packages, or I can take it off. It's up to the client what they're looking
so
for.
They can kind of select their package. Yeah. Okay, that's nice. And then, like, let's say somebody decides to do a payment plan. How does that, like, all work and get
So most of the time, like, they'll reach out to me. Like, people sometimes get confused that I only do group trips, and I don't. I do individual trips, but you would just have to reach out to me and tell me, what it is. Want. Yeah, but I can start pretty much the payment plans are $300 down.
Okay.
So you make a deposit $300, and then the rest of your payments are broken up to equal monthly payments for the remainder of the time.
Nice.
So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so anybody looking to maybe do big trips, especially with the summer coming up. Now, are you how do I say this? Are you planning and chaperoning any trips this summer?
I am actually going to Bali. I'm doing a women's retreat.
Okay, very nice.
To Bali. I'm leaving on the 30th.
Okay.
And we're going to do like a cleansing ceremony. Okay. And they definitely needed me to go. So all women, no men. So
hey, there you go.
Yeah, but it's a sisterhood, a bonding thing. So that was my retreat for this year. Next year we're doing Costa Rica. Anybody interested? I usually start out with like a $50 deposit for my group trips. Just to start it out low for people and stuff. So next year, July, we're doing a women's retreat to Costa Rica.
Okay.
But any of my group trips can be found. I'm on all social media platforms. TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Okay. Trendih Travels. I have a travel group on Facebook, Trendih Travels LLC. Always looking for new members. I do giveaways. Okay. I gave away 2 trips last year. Jamaica and Mexico. Okay. And I've already done one this year. DR. I have a client traveling to DR in August. So I'm hoping to do 2 more this year. Yeah. So, yeah.
And then, so like you're doing Bali this summer.
Yes.
Do you have, is it just people from like Buffalo? Do you have people from other states?
I have people from other states. Honestly, I book a lot of people from different states.
Nice.
So they find me on Facebook and they book.
Okay.
So.
And then like the group trips, is that something that takes you like a while to get situated and plan?
I usually do about a year out for my personal groups. If it's a group that you would like to put together, then anytime. But
because then you're kind of just coordinating the travel part. I give you the details.
Right. Okay. Yeah, but my groups are very detailed. I usually get like a tour guide who's there, and I work closely with them to make sure we're all set up. And
sometimes you go to make sure they're touring right. I love that. Very nice. So so you're a hardworking woman. You're a go-getter. You're a doer. You're family oriented and all that.
Yes.
And it's hard. This is a hard question because it's like it's good that your passion is what you enjoy, but do you do anything outside of that for fun?
I would say travel.
It is, but
not alone.
Yeah,
like my best trips are honestly with my family.
That's good.
That's the time where I feel like I can really like disconnect from the world because everything that's important to me is with me. Right. So when I do go, even though they're like, "You're having fun," I'm like, I'm having a little bit of fun, but I do prefer when we can all go together.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Well, and then are you doing an upcoming class, or is that still?
So that's ongoing. Anytime anybody has an interest in joining, you can reach out to me, and it's ongoing. I have about 15 agents who are attached to me right now. Working their business in various aspects. Some people just sign up for the travel benefits themselves because we get good travel perks being an agent. And then some people sign up and they want to help others travel. So
if somebody wants to sign up for you, is there any specific amount of hours people have to do?
No, it's your business. You run it how you want. But like I said, you get out what you put in. Yeah. So if you sign up and you don't do the training, it's like you're not getting anything out of it. And
then what's the cost for signing up?
Signing up is $199. Okay. It's a one-time fee. Okay. And then monthly you pay $60 is the overhead. Mm-hmm. Basically, I say it keeps the lights on. Okay. For your website maintenance. Okay. And, all of that.
That's not bad though. Per month.
Per month. Okay. And I would say, people always ask me, what's the commission? Mm-hmm. I would say a trip, let's say Jamaica, 2 people, your commission's about $260.
Wow, that's not bad. Yeah.
So
because a trip for 2 people, that's kind of fairly easy to plan. Yeah. Very nice.
So
okay,
it pays your overhead,
right?
And then you still get some pocket money. So
okay,
I say book one trip. If you don't want to do anything else, book one trip a month. Cover your overhead.
That's easy. Yeah.
Get the perks, and it's a win-win.
And then the agents that train with you and get started with you, they're under your business?
They're under their own business. So they will be 1099 under their own business.
But is it under your business name?
They're attached to me. Okay. But it's under their own. They'll be able to brand off on their own.
Oh, okay, very interesting. Yeah, I know there's so many ways to do these things where it's just you don't, know. Okay.
And we do offer a 30-day money back guarantee. Okay. So if you got started and for some reason changed your mind, they'll give you your full money back, no questions asked. So I tell everybody, if you're interested, try it. Yeah. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah. And then now was something like this kind of time consuming or hard to get set up?
No, actually it was easy enough. Because I was already figuring out how to book stuff. It actually streamlined it because we are connected to suppliers. Okay. So I have access to American Airline Vacations, United Air Vacations, Carnival, Cruise Line, and we have our own sign-in to the suppliers. Mm-hmm. We're getting that bulk rate.
Okay, very nice. Well, as I said, this is Nicole with Trendih Travels, Trendih, if you are looking for her on social media. So any traveling needs. And it's kind of cool because, like I said, in my event planning, I do offer accommodations as one of the services, which would kind of entail that. Yes. So if I don't feel like doing it, here we go. I'd be passing you to her. Yes. So, so I hope you tune in and subscribe.